All right, man. How is
Hey, hey,
everybody?
hey. Yeah, welcome back. New year, 2025. Uh,
Tortellini. Ooh, all right. Alfredo sauce. You bringing
marinara.
out for everybody?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's my plate? This was my plate. You know, Alfredo and marinara sauce.
Sounds
Isn't that?
delicious.
That's a thing. That's a thing, isn't it? I know that's a
Alfredo.
thing.
Sure. Yeah,
Well,
it makes a much more creamy sauce. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, I know that's a thing,
Very
but
good, like a
that
rigatoni
sounds
type
good.
thing.
So, what kind of tortellini? Before let's get all the tangents out of the way now. But yeah, guys, welcome back.
It.
It's 2025.
I think it took
This is
exactly
episode,
30 seconds for us to get derailed tonight.
yeah,
Um,
it's episode 80 of the Update Log. I'm Rob, your host, and with me is Greg, my co-host. Four cheese tortellini. Gotcha. Okay. Any meat, like a meat sauce to go with that, or no? I'm
gotta have.
sorry, I'm a carnivore. I
It's
need
gotta
some. I
have
need
meat
some
sauce.
meat. Yeah, I need some meat sauce. Something. Gotta give me something. Damn, now I'm really hungry. Is the episode over yet so I could go eat?
Wow.
Okay, white with spicy sausage. All right. Okay, all right. Love it. Gotta love it. Well, you enjoy your plate of pasta and spicy sausage meat sauce, Foxy. Welcome in, Unholy Pawn. I see you hiding over there somewhere in the corner. But yeah, guys, it's 2025. We survived 2024, both personally, professionally. I hope, and the gaming industry is still alive. Not going to say necessarily well. It's alive. Well, you know, remains to be seen.
Sure, it's not just a zombie.
Honestly, at this point, in some circles, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. There's some shenanigans going on, even though the new year has just begun. But we're not gonna dive too deeply into that. Let's not start the new year off on a bad foot. But I want Greg to go into his tinfoil hat theory that we were talking about off stream.
Ah.
But before, but before we jump into it, I'm gonna give you guys some context. So for those of you who don't know, good old gaming or good old game, sorry, I always call it gaming for whatever reason, is one of the other major digital retailers of video games. For those of you who don't know, honestly, I think it's like the only other real competitor to Steam. So it's Steam and then GOG. They actually have started an effort to preserve games. Started back in November. I don't know all the particulars of this particular endeavor, but if you're curious, definitely go check them out. Um, but they actually partnered with a preservation initiative in Europe called the European Federation of Game Archives, Museums, and Preservation Projects. It's a mouthful, so I'm going to call it FGAMP for short. FGAMP. I'm actually going to drop the link in the chat so you guys can check it out as well. And yes, Foxy Project indie studios are definitely keeping it alive. Making the kids some food. What you making, Unholy Pawn? I'm curious as to what people are making because I'm if you haven't noticed, I'm actually kind of hungry.
The update log slash food channel.
Food channels don't actually do half bad. We might. I mean,
Cooking with
Greg loves to cook bacon.
wow, the way you say that, man.
It's a compliment. I love bacon.
Me
Bacon
too.
goes with everything.
Absolutely. It's
Bacon
not
goes with
the only
absolutely
thing
everything.
that I cook, by the way, but I mean,
No. Greg and I, even though we are, this is all digital. He and I have we've known each other for a number of years, and we have met. And he is a fantastic cook.
thank you.
Gets
Appreciate that.
gets down with the grill. Um, Good
See
guy.
that invites me to come out and visit him, and then makes me cook for him. I mean, what
Hey,
kind of
well, that
friend is
was
that?
not me. That was not me. Don't even put that on me. I did not. No, don't even put that on me. Uh, that was another friend of ours. That was
Yeah,
not me.
that's all right. She cooked a lot, so
She did.
I
She
just
did.
cooked a little.
And no, this is before. This is before she got pregnant.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is before. This is also the time where I killed Greg with a sledgehammer.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
for a film project, and I got to kill Greg with a sledgehammer. It was great. I was a killer.
It's a highlight of your life. I'm thinking some days anyway. It
That
was
was a
fun.
fun
It was
little
fun.
project. Yeah, it's a
Yep.
fun little project. But so back to GOG and their preservation. So basically, what it boils down to is GOG and this European Games Preservation Federation have decided to take it upon themselves to start kind of preserving and keeping up to date 10 plus year old games. That way people can enjoy them, for, as they say, for years to come. So classic games, basically, when this is from the article that I posted, classic games and the mission to safeguard them for future generations have always been at the core of our work, said GOG's managing director. I'm assuming that's Polish. I am not going to try to pronounce it because I will probably butcher his name, but I'm going to try to pronounce his last name. He's the GOG's managing director, Glebevsky. If you're ever hearing this and I butchered your name, I apologize. As a European company, we feel a responsibility to lead in preserving game heritage. Joining FGAMP and reinforces this commitment. So yeah, so GOG is kind of stepping into that sphere of things. I mean, for those of you who don't know, there was a big um, push in the year of 2024 for a kind of stronger stance on game preservation, namely due to Sony and other studios going into people's digital libraries. In the case of Sony, this is one of the major examples, and pulling games completely out, games that you paid for, that was on your library, just yoinking them off your library and basically making it so that you couldn't play it anymore. Now, granted, those games were also that's the best way to put it, not being worked on anymore. Either the studio had closed, or I think in the case of this one, I can't remember the game off the top of my head, and it was a racing game. The studio
Yeah, I
hadn't
forget the name
closed,
of
but
it.
they just weren't
No support for it anymore.
upkeeping. Yeah, there
Hmm.
was no support for it. Now GOG and this European Federation taking it on themselves to preserve games, and notably, and what I want you guys to take note of, they're making sure that the games are going to be compatible with modern hardware and software, like current day Windows, like Windows 11, or stuff like that. So it's going to be a big undertaking. I can almost assure you, and I wish them the best of luck. But now I'm going to pass it over to Greg because he had an interesting tinfoil hat theory for this one
Tinfoil
that
hat theory.
honestly I agree with. I 100% agree with.
All right, all right. So here's the thing. Well, you got to think about this because it's we started talking about this when it really first started getting some attention. It's probably about 6 months ago. And if you are now, just to back up for just a moment, if you are going to launch a new product, okay, what you do to begin with, and this happens in the games industry all the time because you're constantly getting, the spoilers and the previews and the little game trailer things to show you about the new big game that's coming up. But let's say you're not introducing a new game. Let's say you're just introducing some hardware which allows you to play all the old games that you used to play, like Zelda, like Duke Nukem, like all these Star Frontier, all these games that are essentially dead at this point. I mean, the only way you can get them is if you get lucky and get a workable copy on eBay or something like that. Maybe you can download them once in a while. I mean, like the old Fallout games, I think are on Steam. But then Steam, you still are at risk where, hey, that might not always be your game because you don't necessarily own the game.
Mhm.
But what if the product that you're going to sell is a digital pack that plugs into any smart TV, comes with a controller, and because of the data load of these games being very low, nothing like the graphics and everything of games nowadays, you
Yeah.
can literally pack thousands of these games onto this portable hard drive that can be plugged into any smart TV. And all you're going to put on it is these old games. So what do you need to do? You need to advertise it. Well, you can't necessarily advertise it's not going to work really well if you're just advertising old games. But if you're advertising a means for people to play these old games, then you need to stir up interest for the old games. You need to get people like me who used to play Zelda and these games.
And me.
And right, and you need to tell them, "Hey, look, you can play those games again. Here's the nostalgia. You can have this and it's only, $40 and you get thousands of games." But first you drive that by initiating efforts like what's going on, saving the games. Not. And I'm not saying they created it like it's all a lie. It's not. But it definitely what happened in the industry with these bigger companies removing people's games definitely helped market this product because it got people concerned about it. It created a problem, and here these guys come along with a solution.
Yeah.
And they didn't just create that like in the last 6 months. They didn't just all of a sudden, oh hey, we should make this and market these and sell all these games on this thing. They had to do the licensing and all that stuff had to be done ahead of time. I'm sure that has probably been an idea that's been in development for at least a year, probably two.
Mhm. So I'm honestly, when you put it like that, Greg, I'm not surprised if you're actually kind of spot on there.
Save the whales.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised.
I look at those things and go, maybe it's conspiracy, maybe that's just the way my mind works. I'm not a super trusting person or whatever, but and it's not that I'm not saying any of this is bad. It's not, because in the end the consumer gets what they want. That's
Yeah,
we get what we want. We get access to all these old games, and we get it in a means which is very, very, very fluid. It's very easy to use. I mean, you can plug this thing into any smart TV anywhere. You don't have to, there's no connections to it. You don't have to have internet access. You don't have to have anything. You just plug it in. As long as you got power, you can play whatever games you want. Sounds fantastic. You're at a
yeah.
loss.
I
You're at a
mean,
loss for words now.
no, it's just just thinking, because I mean, it's interesting, especially because of the
Shut up
pushback
and take my money.
that, yeah, the pushback that we were, that not I say we as the gaming community was getting from a lot of these studios saying, hey, it's not our job to da, 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 this, that, and the third. I mean, even us on the channel, we said, hey, you know, eh, not that we didn't want these games to stick around, but we understood why studios wouldn't support
Mm-hmm.
these things indefinitely. I mean, it's a money and time thing. Let's be honest. But when you put it like that, where hey, they basically cooked the market for this particular product.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the truth,
Well, and
even partially true.
it's very affordable. It's got all the key elements right there.
Hmm.
It's perfect. There's no development time other than just the hardware piece to it and getting the hardware to work, because all those games have been around forever. You're not
Yeah,
developing anything. You know what I mean?
you're
The
just
most you're doing is making sure that it works on the technology that you've created. That's it.
yeah, and you're putting it on a technology that most people have. Most people have, a smart TV. Honestly, I think smart TVs are now the norm. So
Yeah, I haven't seen a
You know,
box
so
TV in a long time, so.
yeah, me either. And I've looked. I don't know why I've looked, but I've looked.
But yeah,
I,
there's my tinfoil hat theory, as you call it, for you.
that's yes, tinfoil hat theory for the evening. Um, so another thing coming. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff coming up. I mean, it's a new year. I mean, we've got Gary Con coming up, which I mean, Greg, if you want, we can talk about that here in a little bit, because I know you've put out. For those of you who aren't part of our Discord, please go join. If you're going to be at Gary Con, be aware that Greg and Unholy Pond will be running some games, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Mhm.
But join our Discord. That way you can get access to all the information pertaining to GaryCon this year, 2025. Aside from what we're going to go over here in the stream. But one
Maybe
of the
more.
things, maybe more, yeah. One of the things that I kind of want to touch on real quick is Ubisoft. And more specifically because Assassin's Creed Shadow is coming out here in less than a month. And the only reason why I know that is two reasons. Number one, it's Valentine's Day. That's when they're launching it, which I don't know why they're launching it on Valentine's Day. Number two, Valentine's Day happens to be my birthday. So yay me. So they're releasing. I can't believe they're releasing Assassin's Creed Shadow on my birthday. Ugh. Okay, no hate to Ubisoft. No hate to Ubisoft. Just
So Foxy's saying she thought they moved it to March.
they did. They moved it to March. Oh, well, let me check.
I don't know.
Let me check.
Mr. Lover.
That's a song. I can't remember who sings it, but that's a song. Assassin's Creed Shadow is set to release. Yeah, March 20th. Wow, okay, you're right. They did move it. Oof, thank God I dodged a bullet on that one. But the reason why I want to kind of touch on them is apparently the company is set to reshape itself. And to kind of return to, as they call it, their roots, and taking decisive steps to kind of reshape their company and renew focus on gameplay quality, as they say in a recent article. Apparently, well, okay. Apparently, they were trying to buy themselves out from their partnership with Tencent. Okay, didn't know that. This is back in October of 2024. The majority shareholders, the Guillermo, however you pronounce that, I know it's French, family. They were exploring some options there. Not only that, there are a couple of other studios that have, in my opinion, been successfully putting out some really good stuff. Towards the end of 2024, a studio by the name of Grinding Gear Games, which is a New Zealand, based studio, that put out a huge hit in the ARPG scene called Path of Exile, released into early access Path of Exile 2. And suffice to say, they've been cooking. They have been on a tear and have been just putting out awesome content. I mean, they got back from the holidays and immediately went to work. And I've actually been playing Path of Exile a bit. Fantastic game, fantastic studio. Definitely focused on the players and putting out quality stuff. My question to y'all though is, what are y'all looking forward to in terms of games? What do you got, Greg? What are you looking forward to, if any? Because I know you don't get a lot of game time because you're an adult.
All these bad things, man.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, man.
I am not sure. I'm not sure what I am looking for because I know my attention is going to be focused, um, not so much in video games over this year. So my focus is going to be more in the RPG space. Um, but I my I know there's a couple out there. I don't know if they're coming out this year. I doubt it. But there's a couple out there that I'm definitely waiting for, and that's the next iteration of Cyberpunk. Um,
Yep, I think the project's name is Project Orion.
well, yeah, it'll probably change once they actually get it close to release, though.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to the next Skyrim, if there is one, when it comes out.
Oh,
I know it's back and
excuse me.
forth. And there's another Fallout project that's coming. So
There is.
interested in all
With
of
regards
those.
to Skyrim, I know there is a Skyrim 6 that is in development. I believe they pushed back the release year to 2026.
Yeah,
If not,
they've pushed it back a few times now.
yeah, if not, they might be pushing it back again. I don't know. I don't know. I will say this: I am excited for The Witcher 4 to come out. I know it's coming out sometime this year. I think towards the end of this year. That game has gotten a lot of ever since their release trailer at the Video Game Awards. Light No Fire. Expand on that, Foxy Project, because I feel like I've heard that title before. Light No Fire. I'm looking it up now as we speak.
Okay, so
Light
that's
No Fire on Steam.
that's in development right now. So
okay. Let's see.
oh, same makers of No Man's Sky.
Oh.
Interesting. Open world survival crafting with dragons. With dragons, that makes a difference right there.
So it's basically it's a fantasy open world survival. Yeah, that is definitely in your wheelhouse. I know you're a huge fan of 7 Days to Die.
For a
Honestly,
moment,
those games. Go ahead.
well, I was looking at this picture of it online, and for a moment there, I thought that it was a guy with a Laws rocket system on his shoulder, and here it's actually just him carrying a log. I was like, wow, medieval times with a Laws rocket system. Ooh.
Procedurally generated, which kind of makes me nervous. Why would that make you nervous, Foxy?
As long as it's good, you know what I mean? I don't know whether the procedural, yeah, I guess. One trend that I have noticed in 2024 for sure is there's a lot of Easter eggs in the new games that are coming out. A lot of callbacks to other games and popular media as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of remakes coming out, a lot of remasters. Honestly, kind of lends credence to what you were saying about that game stick that came out. There's a lot of places where folks are looking to play the old games, and honestly, I think a lot of studios are. I mean, with Ubisoft saying, "Hey, we're going to return to form. We're going to start working on focusing on quality and all that stuff." I think 2024 was such a big year for a lot of games in both a good and a bad way. That a lot of these studios are taking a pause, taking a step back and be like, okay, well, we need to either continue to do the same in the vein of grinding gear games, they're granted they came out with a new game, but
Right.
their attention to detail and attention to quality and really listening to their player base is something they've always done. Have they always gotten it right? No, but they've definitely been very communicative throughout, since they started, and that's never changed. And I think that's one of the things that I've been seeing from a lot of smaller studios now. Um, I wouldn't even say indie studios, although well, you're seeing that a lot, but a lot of smaller scale, not your huge, 500,000 people studios. The small studios are just listening and doing their best to
500,000.
really pay attention. 500,000? No. Did I say 500,000?
Yeah.
I'll put it
Like, wow.
500.
That's
Excuse me.
that's that's a hell of a big studio there. Oof. What, it doesn't make any sense to spend hundreds of millions or whatever, but like some of them billions on developing new games if nobody has any money to buy them. And that's a little bit of the economic impact piece to it. Is
Yeah.
we're in the first quarter of the new year. It is the year after an election, or it is the
Yep.
election year. Typically, the economy is down every 4 years during this time, and then you compound that with everything else that's been going on, and money's tight. People don't have a lot of free cash. So when there's a new game coming out every other month, it's you're kind of stuck in a spot where, okay, I can't buy them all, but maybe I can buy one or two. So
hmm So you got to be, way more selective
mm-hmm.
with you know,
Besides
what you're
that,
going to
who
do.
has time to play all of them? I'm sure there's people
Nobody.
that
Nobody.
they make time, damn it.
Yeah, yeah. Some people do. Here is something for those of you who do like the survival or rather crafting kind of relaxing games. Who here has played Stardew Valley? I have. I have. I know. I think Foxy, you've played Stardew Valley. Um, if you haven't, go play it. It's a great game. Really fun story. But Stardew Valley has topped 41 million lifetime sales.
Whew.
41 million. And the guy still, I mean, this is Stardew Valley is definitely a 10-year-old game at this point.
Wait, that's old school graphics, way
Yeah,
back.
that's 2D. That's two or that's what is it? 16-bit?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, it's coming up on 10 years. It was released in 2016. So it was coming up on 10 years, another year. But the guy's still updating it. This is almost 10 years later. It's still updating. It hasn't charged anybody for anything.
Foxies in my club have not played Stardew Valley.
You've not played Stardew Valley? Oh damn, I'm disappointed in you, Foxy. Shame. Shame.
I'm not. I'm very happy with you, Foxy. That's fantastic.
um,
I know a lot of people that just love that game, and I've watched it played a few times, but yeah, no, it's just not for me. I mind-numbing games are one thing, but then when you mix in the early 1980s graphics with it, it's kind of like
yeah.
mm,
Black Myth Wukong ended. Basically was named Game of the Year for the Steam Awards. So good job on them. They definitely deserve that one. They were one of the few titles in the Video Game Awards that I actually. This may sound harsh, but I thought deserved to be there. Um, to even be mentioned in that particular circle. Apparently, though, and this is an odd thing, but Tencent was named. Here, let me pull up this article again. There's the page. Where is it? There. U.S. Department of Defense adds Tencent to list of Chinese military companies.
really.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna drop this one in here. And and for the record, we don't do politics and the update log, but this is interesting.
Well, it's quasi politics, I guess.
Yeah. Let's see. Tencent. Apparently, there was a movie. Tencent listed Chinese. Tencent wants to engage with the U.S. Department of Defense to correct what it claims is a mistake that has led to it being included in a newly published list of Chinese military companies. Interesting.
I
Chinese tech and video game conglomerate, which owns major studios such as League of Legends, Maker Riot Games, and Clash of Clans developers, Supercell was included in a refreshed list. I'm trying to find why, though.
You never know. You never
Well, I
know.
mean,
I'd say Foxy's asking the question if they're going to require Tencent to divest in order to do business in the U.S. like they are with TikTok. You never know.
oh,
You never know.
that's actually a really good question. Yeah, when is TikTok supposed to be allegedly banned? I know the ban went through, but
Well, the ban went through unless they divest. That's they have to separate the company.
January 9th. Okay, so 4 days.
Yeah, that's the requirement. You have to separate the
They have
company
to do it.
so that the ownership of the U.S. arm of TikTok is it's a
Owned by the
U.S. owned
US.
corporation, right?
Yeah.
They can maintain a share in the company, but they can't be the controller of the company. So,
In the base of the U.S. based arm is what they're saying, right?
mm,
Gotcha. And that's an interesting piece. And I know TikTok is a social media platform, but it's for those of you who are on TikTok or who are kind of paying attention to the whole thing. TikTok it's on fire now, kind of
that's good.
literally and figuratively, but it's definitely a home and a space for gaming communities, video gamers, you know, folks who love TTRPGs. It's definitely has a video game and gaming space, so it's worth talking about. Um,
Well, TikTok is an extremely, multifaceted. We'll put it. I don't want to say well-rounded or anything like that.
yeah,
Multifaceted community
yeah.
because you just depends on what you want to see, hear, listen to, talk about. I mean, you can
Mhm.
find it. You can find it on TikTok. Um, and I mean, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Um, I don't know.
I don't know either. To be completely honest, I feel like, at least from what I understand, um, Foxy says, has the Supreme Court made the official ruling? I hadn't heard. I listened to the oral arguments. Fascinating. Okay, what piqued your interest uh, about that particular uh, argument? And for me, TikTok. I mean, I do have a TikTok account, and I do follow a couple of content creators on there from a bunch of different areas. Uh, it. I honestly think TikTok has done a lot of good for the gaming community as a whole. It's opened up doors for a lot of content creators and just creative individuals to build an audience, build product. Um, but it's also brought mainstream uh, or the gaming market to the mainstream. More people may not necessarily play video games, but they're more aware of it. It's more of a thing that's talked about, not just among a niche group of
Hmm.
people, which is good and bad. It's good because now for those of us who were bullied for playing games, now we're like, you know, kind of vindicated in a way, but also and take this with a grain of salt. On the negative side of things, it's become very much commercialized to the point where again, we saw it in 2024, not to beat a dead horse, but it's commercialized to the point it's now about making a profit as opposed to making a quality piece
Hmm.
of product. So, you know, and honestly, I think TikTok, well, the pandemic and the last, I can't remember when, I think TikTok actually came out during the pandemic, but the pandemic, TikTok were definitely the driving forces for that push for kind of mainstream attention to the video game space as a whole.
So, in answer to Foxy's question, it honestly depends on what news outlet you look to get an idea of what is going on. The Supreme Court has not made a ruling yet. Which way they're leaning, just that's really all controlled by the different factions in the news, because they all
Hmm.
say that the Supreme Court's leaning their way, whatever way that is.
Yeah. Which, hey, you know, I don't know.
As of
Uh,
11 hours ago, they have not made a ruling. 14 hours, sorry, 14 hours.
well, that's good. See, from listening to the arguments, I feel like they're going to uphold the ban. Okay. And so, for those of you who don't know, and I know we got kind of on a TikTok tangent. The ban basically is going to have TikTok removed from both the Apple Store and the Google Play Store, essentially, but removed from both of those ecosystems. But if you already have it on your device, obviously they can't, just come and take it off. So for those who have
You just won't be able
TikTok,
to use it.
yeah,
You won't be able to use
won't
it.
be able to use it, and there won't be any more updates or anything like that for it. So, which,
They'll ban the TikTok IPs, which will restrict everyone's
hmm,
access, and unless you have an overseas
like a VPN or
IP,
something,
right, you won't be
yeah,
able to access.
yeah. Which, I mean, kind of sucks, but I
Have to
understand kind
start
of.
watching more YouTube, I guess. Twitch,
uh
Twitch on your phone.
Twitch, YouTube, yeah, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Well, yeah, just go to something new. One of the other things, though, that I want to talk about, which is definitely something that we've touched on quite a bit, but I'm really happy to see it, is the communities that have sprung up around a lot of the games that came out, in 2023, 2024. Tons of communities. I mean, I mean, and we've talked about this game quite a bit. Uh, but the modding community for games like uh, uh, Cyberpunk 2077, and Baldur's
Fall,
Gate 3.
Fallout,
What was that?
Fallout.
Fallout. Yeah. The communities that have sprung up around a lot of these games are really going strong. I was reading an article today. Baldur's Gate 3, it's a particular modder. Basically, the community is making strides towards custom campaigns.
Ooh,
Um, and a lot of
days,
them are set to
yes.
be set to be released this year. And you might think, well, shit, custom campaigns, how's that going to work? What is Larian going to do about it? Well, Larian kind of already answered that question in that they've integrated mod support into the game, baked in, already set up and ready to go. So it's really really cool that modders are taking the reins and putting out stuff for us as consumers to continue to enjoy and replay these games. But also, what that kind of gives me hope for is there are still people out there with a passion for creating good games. And
Hmm.
for those of you who don't know, haven't really followed the history of the video game industry, a lot of the legends, a lot of the household names in the video game industry that that this industry was built off, off the back of, the hard work of. They started out, a lot of them started out as testers, modders, you know, people doing essentially what these individuals are doing. Um, I mean, a well-known individual. Well, Timothy Kane, who's one of the most well-known game developers, actually went to school for it. um, but I know he started out as a kind of doing it privately. I mean, we had um, Twain Martin on, who again is
Hmm.
an original OG World of Warcraft developer. He started out just messing with stuff privately as well. So it's good to see that a community, the video game
That's
community and the gaming community is.
before the internet. I mean, that used to be how it was done. I mean, before the internet became what it is, the early dial-up internet. Um, you had, you know, private individuals, sysops, who would make a old computer into a server, and then you could connect directly to their server and play their games that they created on their server. That was the early days of the internet.
Yep.
I remember doing that.
Well, I mean, Greg, you've had some experience in that, yeah. So Foxy says Laren is too smart to make a dumb move, like basically banning mods. Oh yeah, yeah. Honestly, I think mods have become kind of just a staple for PC gaming. I mean, there's even a push for it to go to console gaming, which uh, I'm not sure how. I know it's got traction, it's got weight behind it, but I don't know how well that's gonna pan out. Um, you can do things with a PC that you just can't really do with a console.
Yet.
Um, yeah, yeah, well, that's yeah, yeah. You're 100% right there, Greg. Um, oh, another game. So who here's a EverQuest fan? I almost forgot about this particular gem.
I know some EverQuest fans.
Have you ever played EverQuest, Greg? You don't look
I
like you're.
I played the original EverQuest RPG, but I never played the video game. So the actual, tabletop I played.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So EverQuest, or rather, this is being touted as a spiritual successor to EverQuest. It's been in development for about 10 years. It's had some ups and downs. Finally released on early access on Steam. It's a game called Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. Um, it's got some notables. What the hell? Why did that come up? Oh,
Yeah,
what are you
you're
doing?
you're hitting on an important piece right there, Foxy, and that's, I mean, the mods. It's insane for these developers to not support modding. Now, maybe when you first release a game, you kind of want to protect the code. You want to keep the modders away from it as much as possible. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but at a certain point, the mods become like a second life for the game. The mods themselves, because you have to have the base game in order to use the mods. So they become a new method for promoting and selling that game. So yeah, it absolutely makes sense for developers at some stage to be behind the modding community and be like, yeah, mod our game. Absolutely. Besides that, you get to a point where you have to put very little attention into the game, and the modders take
Mm.
care of all the new content for you. At that point, it's like you have a whole free workforce out there. Not that that's a great thing, but I mean, for them it is. I mean,
Well, I mean, I think most modders understand that you're not going to be paid for this. If you're doing it, you're taking it excuse me, upon yourself
Right.
to
Well, and if you do if you create
do
something
this.
and you do try to charge for it, somebody else is going to create it and offer it for free, because that's the nature of it.
Exactly.
So there's no point in it.
Yeah. So this game, Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen, is out on Steam right now for $39.99 if you're interested. But it is a spiritual successor to EverQuest, to the old school kind of way MMOs were done before World of Warcraft, and even World of Warcraft to an extent. I mean, go back to Ultima Online, Dark Age Camelot, old school EverQuest, Final Fantasy 11. Greg, I know you played that a lot. Um, these were games that stressed community, meaning
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times you couldn't just go solo on a lot of these things. The community was really engaged in a lot of a particular server's success or failures. I remember in old EQ,
Well, there weren't a lot of
if you were,
options either,
yeah,
and the cost structure was way different. You didn't have as much of the in-game options early on. Mainly, it was just subscription based, where you'd pay your $9 a month, and you get a character, and you could have multiple characters if you pay an additional $9 a month, or maybe you could have additional storage and pay like $1 extra.
mhm,
Stuff like that. That was, you didn't have all these pay to win options, or all the in-game style options that you could buy, and stuff like that. So
yeah, which is, well, I mean, I don't know. Definitely go check out Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. It's a game that I am keeping my eye on. I actually kind of tried it out for a bit. I purchased it and played it for under 2 hours. It's being really strict there, and it didn't. And this is actually something I have to kind of eat some crow on, because as I was playing it, I was like, man, what the hell? Why isn't it doing such? There's no map in the game. There's no map at all. You have to remember where you're going. There's no map. Um, it's definitely going back to the old school days where you had to explore, you had to learn, you had to talk with the community, talk with people in general chat, or world chat, global chat, whatever you want to call it at the time, and people were figuring stuff out. It was the Wild West, so to speak. And a lot of the quality of life and creature comforts that we're used to, and obviously this is particular to MMOs because it is an MMO, weren't there. And I refunded it, and I caught myself afterwards. It was stuck in the back of my head, and that's how I know the game was good. I just didn't see it at the time because it stuck in the back of my head. And I was like,
damn, now I want to
normally
play
I'd
some
be,
more.
I'd well, yeah, normally I'd be on board. Normally I'd be on board with because I'm the type of player, game player. Like I'll play hardcore. One life, you die, that's it, you done, game over, start over. I'm that kind of player. I like a challenge. I hate. This is another tangent, but I think a lot of the reason why players are disillusioned might be a way to put it. Annoyed might be another way to put it. With a lot of modern games, especially, we'll stick with MMOs, massively multiplayer online games. We'll stick with MMOs. WoW is a perfect example. Although I do play retail WoW. Oh yeah, Unholy Pond. Literally, yeah. There's people that do that with that kind of Pantheon. I know there's an online resource. I think someone put up a map of the world for players to utilize. But yeah, make your own map, man. Or just screw it and really try to remember. Like, oh, okay, I remember that landmark. I know where I'm at. But as I was saying, I do play retail WoW. I find the story fun. They brought back some heavy hitters from the old days in terms of the narration team. Chris Metzer being one of them. Um, he's the new creative director for World of War for the, I think, overall, but if not, then for the narration team for retail WoW. Um, so he's getting back to the story roots. But retail, and this is example, my personal opinion, retail WoW is so on rails in terms of gameplay. There's add-ons and mods and this and that to really just essentially play the game for you. You just got to push the buttons. You got things telling you what to push, when to push it. That are you really playing the game,
Right.
or are you just along for the ride? So when I played Pantheon, it had none of that, not even a fucking map. It
That's
was like,
always my
what?
argument against mods. And
Yeah,
I
same
don't
here,
use
same for
mods
me,
much
because
at all. But
yeah,
I always my thing is I want to play the game first.
yeah, I want to
And
play. None of that, but I
right,
want to play the game, not this, slap a bunch of shit on it and okay, yeah, it's a game, but with all a bunch of bells and whistles that didn't come
right,
with it. So yeah, when I played Pantheon and I realized okay, those weren't there, kind of irked me. I was like, oh well, why isn't this there? Why isn't this there? So I refunded it, and it just stuck in the back of my head, and I started watching some videos on and getting other people's takes on the game. And then I kind of sat down and I had to eat a little bit of crow there because I was like, you know what? First of all, I gave up too easily, and secondly, I got used to the hand holding. Like I used to everything telling me when to do what, and I'm like, shit. That's the state of a lot of these online games now that allow obviously add-ons and mods. Yeah, it did Unholy Pawn. You're right, it did. But I mean, you potentially got better at the game because you didn't want to do that fucking corpse run anymore. Not to say you never died, but honestly, I think, and again, yeah, that is probably a strike against mods and things like that, where it streamlines things so much that are you really playing the game, or are you just mashing buttons while staring at a screen? Because those are not the same. In my opinion, those are not the same. When you can just kind of shut your brain off and really just kind of go along for the ride because you have add-on A, B, and Z telling you when to push what, and oh you have to do this and you have to move here, and the boss is going to do this, instead of you actively paying attention.
right.
you know and again, not to get preachy or anything, it's personally it's something that I realized and I was like, holy shit. I had to like I had to kind of be honest with myself, like, yeah, I did that. So yeah, a little sneak peek on kind of what was brewing in my head.
Yeah, I don't use like 7 days. I know several people that do use mods.
Mhm.
And they stream with mods pretty often as well. And it's cool to see the stuff that people are doing with games like that, and how they're theming the game. I actually enjoy that, but I don't play them. I don't play the mod. I just play the base game.
Greg's like, just give me the base game. I don't want nothing
Yep.
else.
Yep. I'm good. I
Yeah,
have not modded anything for 2077. That's just straight the game.
yeah, and I respect it. I honestly respect it.
The game I modded the most. I tried some mods for Fallout 4. In the game I modded the most was ESO. I I did mods on that. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Bring me
That
over to
played
the
that.
dark side.
Bring you over to the dark side. Okay, Foxy Project, I have a question for you. How many
You're not
mods do
my
you have?
father.
I hope not. How many mods do you have on 7 days?
I think she does. I think she does a lot of theme mods.
Yeah, I've seen some let's plays with like some Fallout themed mods and stuff like that.
They've done some really interesting ones here lately.
They have actually done some pretty cool ones too.
Yeah.
I will say, consider, especially some of them that do like graphical overhauls. Some of them do that. and make it very, very interesting. So, it's definitely
Overhaul
one of those
mods.
things. Let's see.
So she mainly
Let's
uses
say,
overhaul mods. Even when you're playing vanilla, you have bigger backpack and 24-hour trader mod. See, that's
okay,
cheating. That's
that
cheating.
that's fair. All right, so at least those two. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. But I did mention we'd get into some of the stuff that we'll be doing here at the Razzmatazz channel.
I gotta say
And
this. It
Garricon.
is a hell of a lot of fun watching Foxy play though. That's
Yeah, I honestly I will fully admit I haven't
Mhm.
actually checked out your stream, Foxy. I apologize.
Naughty
To be
naughty.
fair though, to be fair, in my defense, I don't watch a lot of Twitch. Like I used to back in the day when Twitch was new, but I, I'm, I- I've gotten to a point where why the hell am I gonna watch somebody else play a damn game? I might as well play it my fucking self, you know? That's just my opinion.
There is an addictive quantity
It's like a TV
to
show.
it is. It is.
It's like a TV show.
And you're it does. It's addictive watching somebody else play a game.
Yeah, Foxy, that's also one of the drawbacks of mods. It is entirely up to the creator whether or not they'll update it, when, and if they decide to drop the project, well, that's it. It's done, you know. But to be fair, like you said, people got lives. Some people might get busy, sitting there putting in, hours, because that stuff takes hours, depending on the complexity of the mod, keeping that up
Is the
to date.
day coming where we're all just hooked up to machines?
I mean, Ready Player One, it's a look. I'm calling it now. The person that creates the Ready Player One like universe, though, you can put on a helmet and whatever, and you're fully immersed. That studio, that business, money, arm over arm, not even hand over fist, arm over arm. They're gonna have so much money, it's going to be ridiculous. I'm right, Greg. I'm right. People will, they'll be like, okay, the price tag is $1,000. People will buy it for $1,000,
Well, there's efforts out there. There's
and
groups.
yeah,
Upheaval,
it already, yeah,
upheaval,
it
which
already
is
exists.
one right that
Yep.
that we work with already.
Mhm.
That is developing. I mean, they have a very advanced AI system that's geared towards games, but it's awesome. Really, really intuitive, player friendly. And it's based off the concept of Ready Player One. So
Mhm.
when you were saying that, I'm like, yeah, I know
It already
somebody.
exists. Yeah, it already exists. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Foxy Project, you are correct. You are correctly, so you are entirely correct. We don't leave our house without our phones. Although I've actually started to do that a lot more. I've just left my phone just sitting there and like, screw it, I'm just gonna go for a walk, just kind of unplug.
Yeah.
And it's weird, especially being back up in New York. I came to see my mom for the holidays and watching people walking around. And I know we're off on another tangent, but you see watching people and literally they're walking down the sidewalk like this, head full down,
Steamboat.
just like that. Now, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me.
Cheap viewers, huh?
I don't want no
Fantastic.
cheap viewers.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
either. Goodbye.
yeah. I want viewers with value. um,
You got that one?
yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to click the thing. Let's see. There we go.
All
There,
right.
he's gone. Um, but yeah, Foxy, we are being groomed for the future. I fully expect 10 years we'll be at the Ready Player One stage. I expect it.
And a
I'm
lot of
already
times
not
it's not
graceful.
really people, it's bots. I mean, that's sometimes it
No, I
is.
think she's talking about the people that walk around with their face in their phone.
Oh,
Yeah, I was explaining that to chat, like, since I'm back in New York, I go out without my phone just to unplug and kind of get away from the technology, and I'll literally see people walking head full down, like I can see the top of their head, and they're walking down the
they're
sidewalk.
developing amazing superpowers.
Apparently, fucking echolocation or some shit, because apparently they can see on the top of their head. you know. And I'm not gonna say I haven't done it. I'm not gonna say I haven't, like, walked, and kind of been looking down at my phone. But when I realized that I was doing that, I always now if I do that, I stop and I step to the side. Like I
Echolocation.
actively stop and I step to the side.
That's the oddity about cell phones. So there was a point. I personally, if I didn't have to have a cell phone, I don't think I would.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
and it's just
100%.
I really I use the thing so much now for business that it's basically a part of me at this point. But I I would rather not. I would rather not be that accessible. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's a lot of people like that. They've been kind of groomed into the idea that being accessible all the time and having all this access is. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I just personally would like to be able to just disconnect from it and not be accessible.
Same, big same. Sometimes I don't want to talk to you. Just leave me the fuck alone. I swear to God, I'm a nice person. Just sometimes, I don't want to bother. But yeah, let's talk about Gary Con,
That's what
Greg.
all the not nice people say. I swear to God, I'm
Oh,
a nice person. I know
I am
how
a
you.
nice person, man. But I'm
I
also
had
gonna
to,
get some
man. You
water.
left it wide open. I just had to do it there.
I really did. You're right, and I appreciate you taking the bait.
So okay, so talking about getting off of the video games piece and more into the space of story and storytelling and what we do.
Yep,
GaryCon for one, which is coming
Gary,
up
good
in
old
March.
Gary Con.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Dark Pawn, who is a member of the team, also plays Dr. Andrew in our Walking Dead stream, which is fantastic. We've only had 2 episodes so far. A third episode will be coming up this Saturday. And that is
Hmm.
actually going to be a background episode that is focused on one of the main characters. Her name is Astrid. It kind of gives a run up idea of who she was before everything went to hell and in the wildfire virus struck and dead bodies started getting back up. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, it'll be interesting. It gives the backstory idea of what brought her to where she is now. So what her life has been, what happened to her before our story started. Um, that's the first one of those we're doing, a backstory story for the characters, but we are going to do one for each one of the main characters as we go. Um, right now we're streaming a 4-hour episode essentially every 2 weeks on Saturday evening on Twitch. And I am gonna start uploading some stuff to YouTube, so it'll be going to video for YouTube. But yeah, check that out. It is very awesome. Plus, if you're going to be at GaryCon, I am going to be running 2 sessions of The Walking Dead at GaryCon this year. Both be evening games, full table, so 8 players available. Hey, sign up, come play with me. Love it.
Yep. Greg is a
I could
fantastic DM.
I could be a zombie.
Um,
No, I'm not going to eat you. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. Depends on how hungry I am.
if you look like bacon,
If
you
you
might want to sit up.
wow, here we go with the bacon again. Just don't look like bacon. Easy.
Look. This coming from the guy who said he could eat a pound of bacon easy.
maybe two. I mean,
I mean,
who's
to be
counting?
fair, I could probably also eat a pound of bacon pretty easily. Bacon's delicious, man. Oh,
Bacon does go with everything. I mean,
it
it
really
really
does.
does.
I mean, hell, like they have bacon ice cream.
Not sure about that,
Have ba-
but everything
no,
else. But
I've actually tried it. I've actually tried it, and at least the way this place did it, pretty good. Pretty good. Like it's pretty good. Pretty good.
so
It was a sweet and salty thing.
sweet and salty. Well, hey, that. All right. Just for you, I will try bacon ice cream. I gotta find it
Try it, man.
first, but I will try
Yeah,
that.
you gotta find
Um,
some good stuff. You know, don't.
what is good stuff? It's bacon and ice cream. I mean,
Oh, find some good. You'll know. You'll know. Go
does
eat crap.
Haagen-Dazs make it or something? I don't know. Um,
I
so
honestly, they might.
they might. They make all kinds of other weird flavors.
They do.
So we have the two games of The Walking Dead going on in the
Mhm.
evening. I think on Thursday night and Saturday night. I think. Might have to if you're part of our Discord, just go check out the GaryCon channel and you can see the schedule of games that Dark Pond and I will be running. And you can get the inside scoop on the story. You'll have some direct communication. You'll be able to kind of do some character planning, things like that with us. The backstory piece, parts 5 through 8 of Beyond the Wall, which is the Cyberpunk campaign that I have been running for GaryCon. I ran the first 4 sessions last year at 2024 at GaryCon. Yeah, it's the Cyberpunk game is it's based off of a story that I created in a personal group and then kind of developed into this piece that we're using for GaryCon. And actually, Rob and Matt both took part in the development piece for getting the first 4 sessions to GaryCon last year, so that was fantastic.
It was a hell of a time. It was so much fun. So much freaking fun.
So sessions 5 through 8 will be this year, 10 a.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Um, Definitely, if you want a seat, get a seat. There's only 6 seats at each table, and they go fast. So grab a seat. Um, and last but far from least, our very own Dark Pond is going to be running 2 sessions of Alien. Hopefully, that will be with the second edition system, not the original Alien system. So you kind of get twofold there. You get to play a really awesome game in a really really awesome setting, and you get to check out the new system at the same time. So ideally,
Nice.
um, Dark Pond runs some really awesome Alien. So I mean, definitely go check that out. I will be playing at his table, FYI. So come play with me. And I'm not mean like Rob is, so it's okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I'm not a mean DM. I'm a very nice DM. Thank you very much.
You're gonna be broke after GaryCon. Oh yeah. So yeah, that will be GaryCon. There'll be some other things. I think Dark Pond is planning on um doing like the all night bash of playing doing whatever we can figure out to do. Um,
Are you guys doing a 24-hour or something?
I don't know if I would say you guys, but
Oh,
I think
Greg looks like him, not me.
I think Dark Pond's planning on doing that. Some late night pop up games for sure. Yeah, I think we'll probably be up in the commons with the pickup games, just kind of checking stuff out.
Unholy
And
Pond, do you sleep at all, man? Like, do you actually close your eyes for rest?
rest, what is that?
Because I don't think you're gonna get much of that during GaryCon.
So, couple other things. I in the process right now
Plenty of
of
sleep when you're dead.
yeah, there you
True.
go. You do. Sam Elliott said so. Um,
Yeah.
but you we are looking at doing some more conventions this year. So the last 2 years I attended Gen Con 2023, 2024 GaryCon, and then this year GaryCon, and I'm not sure what else. Probably, I don't know if I'm going to do Gen Con this year. Maybe. Um,
Gen Con's a big.
yeah,
That's a big. It's
maybe
a big ask.
it
For those of
is.
you who've never been to Gen Con, it's fun. It's fun both if you're going as a consumer, if you're going to enjoy the sites, the games, so and as a as a company, as a team.
Mhm.
But it takes it out of you, no matter what side of the line you fall on.
How many shelves? So
So make sure you give yourself like a day of rest.
yeah, we're putting together a schedule right now to take a look at, and probably going to be probably going to be some games up in the Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, maybe Ohio, maybe Michigan. I don't know. I don't know. I might go to PAX this year as well. Maybe.
Ooh, PAX, that would be a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
PAX is definitely a big deal.
I've been debating on that, and then talking with some folks about how to what I would do with that. I like to go with a purpose rather than I haven't gone to cons without having a purpose other than just being there in a long time. So
5 shelves, 24 inches wide. Oh man, you're set. You're she's planning on coming back with a lot.
well, I tell you what, if you want anything from Free League, let me know. I am working on something with that as well. So I probably going to do some distribution for Free League games. We'll see.
Love Free League. Great
Yeah,
company, great bunch of people,
They're a
great games.
fantastic group of people. Awesome games. They're very, very easy to work with. So that's really the highlight piece to it. Yeah. Other than that, and we'll be running The Walking Dead Wildfire. Go check that out. I'm loving that, and the players are awesome. Also, if you're frequent if you frequently watch the channel, so you get the channel points for being here. If you have enough, right now it's set at 20,000 channel points. If you have enough channel points, then you could buy yourself a guest spot on the Walking Dead stream if you're interested in that.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
right.
yeah, yeah, and we set that up so that people can have an opportunity to just kind of jump in there and play a character and get eaten by a zombie. I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
Who doesn't want to get eaten by a zombie, right?
No guarantees that you're going to get eaten by a zombie, by the way, but I'll try.
I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm spending my points. I better get eaten by a damn zombie.
Oh, we can make that happen for you. So we do have a couple other projects that are in the works as well. A couple other games that we're looking at doing. And doing for stream content. I'm not gonna name any names at this point because we're still a little bit up in the air on that. But stay tuned. Join the Discord. Come check it out.
Yeah.
That's eaten by a safe space to get eaten, especially since it's a safe space to get eaten by a zombie. I somehow my mind can't wrap around that. It's like there's so many things wrong with that. I'm not sure.
I don't think that exists, Fox Project. There is no safe place to get eaten by a zombie.
Well,
or eaten by anything.
Yeah, I guess you're not actually gonna get eaten by a zombie. So just your character.
You're not gonna get eaten by a zombie yet.
Yet. Okay.
Because it could entirely look. We've all seen The Walking Dead, right? Not The Walking Dead. Well, The Walking Dead,
Who's
but
got the tinfoil
The
hat
Last
on
of
now?
Us. All right, we've all seen The Last of Us. Okay,
right.
I think they're called cordyceps. They're like the little parasite mushrooms that those exist. Those are a real thing.
Yep.
Okay.
I like the clickers.
No.
I'm a little weird.
All I'm saying is I'm not going to be a mushroom person. All right. And people wonder why I hate mushrooms. Well, This this is the third reason. Saying
Mushrooms, really, really, it's the mushrooms' fault. Yeah.
it is. It is. And I stand by that.
So there are so many, and there's some really good games, series, things like that are out there right now. And I would love to create story for all of them. But yeah, that's challenging for sure. Um, Definitely have some things in the lineup that I want to do. Walking Dead was one of them, and it just so happened that I had a crew of people that wanted to do it, so here we go. A couple other concept ideas. We are working on a. Okay, I'm going to name games now. Said I wasn't going to, but I'm going to. So we are working on a potential Symbaroum game that's out there that we've been working on for a little while. There's a couple other things in the lineup, like possibly a Dune story.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I've got that kind of percolating in the background. Um, sky's the limit. So many options out there. I mean, as to what we could do, and a lot of it just depends on what the fan favorites are. Yeah, the Dune. It was a toss up. I was either going to do Dune or The Walking Dead, and people jumped on The Walking Dead, so that's the direction we went. I'm a big fan of both, so I mean, Walking Dead's perfect.
Anybody seen the new Dune Prophecies show that's out?
No,
Yeah,
it's fine.
there's a TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, I cut back on some of the things that I was. Here's the craziness is with all of the different services and streaming and
platforms.
all this. Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. You end up with all these things that you're paying for every month. And I got looking at that and I'm like, oh my god,
half of them you don't even fucking use.
Right. So I started cutting some stuff out, and then that series came. Now it's buried behind a paywall that I used to have, but
Yep.
I canceled it. So, oh well.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you, Greg. That there's so many different services doing this, that, and the third, and you gotta jump through hoops here. And look, man, just bring back cable.
The saddest.
This is essentially the new cable.
Well, it's okay. I'm going to rant for just a second here because it is ridiculous the way this has come full circle around. Because you went from all the way back in the day, public TV, rabbit ears, blah blah blah, which sucked by the way. But yeah, then you had cable. You get basically anything on cable. Obviously they had particular programming and whatnot, but you got all the movies, all the stuff, all the things, all the stuff, the TV, the news, all that.
One bill.
Right, one bill, and no fluff to it. You know what I mean? There's just here's your bill. It was all on a schedule, so you had to watch the movie when it was scheduled. But there you go. Then it started changing, and all the way to where we are now. Where I mean, Netflix once upon a time was a video rental company where you could rent videos through the mail. That's how it worked. You rented the video, they mailed you the video, and then you had so many days to mail it back, or they started charging you late fees for it. And that's how their business ran. But now, and then Prime, Amazon used to be more of a service-based company. Now it's gone all the way to the point where you pay and I'm on an Amazon platform right now with Twitch. But whatever. Truth is truth. That's the way I look at it. Truth is truth. Yeah, I pay a monthly fee every month for the service, and then on top of that, if I want a particular movie or something, I got to pay more. I got to pay $6, $7, $8 to rent it, or $50 to buy it. I'm like, on top of the monthly fee, now I got to pay you more for it. And now, in addition to that, now you got to watch commercials. It's like we've gone full circle back to
you have to pay higher not to watch commercials.
Yeah, it's get your Prime plus Infinity package for an extra $10 a month. Then you get rid of the commercials, but you still got to rent the movies, and you still got to pay for this and that and the next thing.
And yes, if you do have Prime, you can use your free sub to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, you can. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I
So
gotta dole out my free sub actually because I do have one for my Prime account.
mm.
That's probably one of the ones I should have canceled, but I didn't.
So Unholy Pawn said you're kind of meh on Dune Prophecy, fair, but you're liking Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew is what the
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
Yep, that's the new Star Wars one, which actually they did a whole lot better job on that than they did the previous. The what the hell was that? The I forget what the name of it was. The one right before this that they came out with was just garbage.
Oh, the Acolyte.
Yeah, the Acolyte. There you go.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
Acolyte was dog
they
shit.
killed
Was
Trinity in the
was
first episode. I was
was
ruined on it, just like that. It's like,
yeah, it was
okay, I don't want to watch
absolute
any more of
dog
this.
shit.
Right.
Yeah, no, absolute dog shit. Absolute dog shit. I don't care if they watch this later on. I really don't. Like it was absolute dog shit. Sorry, I'm not. I will die on
Awesome.
that hill.
Thank you,
Thank you
Foxy.
for the Prime sub, Foxy.
It
Yeah, it
was
was
100%
absolute
garbage.
dog shit. Absolute dog
But
shit.
Skeleton Crew is I've enjoyed that so far. That actually is pretty good, and it's
I'm
surprisingly
gonna have to
it's
check it out then.
well, and it's it's definitely kind of in line with what you'd expect from Disney. It's kind of a step back to the like Sandlot days where it's it's a group of kids, and it's a pretty cool story centered around this group of kids. Um, and it kind of sticks. I'm not going to say it sticks right with the lore of the rest of the Star Wars universe because it's become very big. So there's a lot of different pathways for that. Um, but it's good. It's good. I've enjoyed it so far. Yeah, that's all
Cool.
I got, man. I need to shut up now. Or I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep rambling on and.
No, that's all I got too. I mean, that's our first episode of the year. I know, episode 80 of the update log. Finish. It's done.
We well, we are planning to bring some new thoughts and ideas to the update log for 2025.
Well, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We're changing direction a little bit with it. Still going to be talk show based, but ideally it's going to be a little bit more audience focused. Rob,
Still with the focus on the industry and kind of what's going on there, because I think we've established here at the Raz channel with the update log and just all the things that we've been trying to build. It's about the community, and the industry I feel is starting to realize that, especially from the player base. It's about the community, it's about the people that you build and enjoy these games with, and that's kind of what we're going to be focusing on here at the update log. um, what you guys want to see in here, what you guys want to talk about, feel free to come to each episode with some, hey, did you hear about this or that? Feel free, because we do this for you guys. So feel free to come with your own ideas and stuff like that. If you want to throw us out an idea for the channel or something that you want us to cover, join our Discord. There's plenty of channels for you to do so. Um, but yeah, it's just about the industry, where it's going, um, and bringing you guys the latest and greatest, and making sure that we're giving you value for your time.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah, Rob told me that I had to behave myself, and at first I was like, no,
I did not.
no,
Don't
I
even
can't.
blame that on me. I didn't said nothing of the sort, because I don't plan on behaving myself.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you everybody very much for joining us this evening. We love having this opportunity with you, and you listen to and pay attention to our bullshit, so we appreciate it very much. Have a fantastic evening. We'll see you we'll see you Saturday night. Don't forget.
Yeah,
we'll see you Saturday night, 6 p.m. CST.
For that special episode.
Yeah, special episode of The Walking Dead. Wildfire. Backstory for Astrid, and it is going to be awesome. You as